Welcome home to many a sim racer's first foray into oval style racing. This is a track that holds itself in a regard to say that it has not been a part of the real world's worth of racing for 17 years now at this point, but it houses itself very similar to the likes of Oran Park and before it was revived, the likes of Wilkesboro Speedway as a circuit that holds itself as one that iRacing remembers above all else. Welcome into Florida, the panhandle of America, and USA International Speedway, because we got F4 cars, and we've got them on dirt, John.
Oh, yes. I think something that either the drivers are terrified or just looking at gloriously, thinking this could be my opportunity. It's something of an unusual circumstance to see an F4 car drifting every single corner, but personally, I love it. It's very old school, and it almost reminds me of, I don't know, like the Cars movie, where they've got the nostalgia scenes of just the drifting. It's wonderful, in a nutshell.
Well, who's going to be out there being the Hudson Hornet here today, knowing how critical this is at the third round of the championship? After this, we hit halfway over the course of this season. It is a big throw for drivers now to have to try and work out how to get a car sideways that doesn't have specific dirt tyres. So that brings USA International into play. You've then got Alton Park coming along in 7 days. The break week then leads to the Roval and then the Cup course of Watkins Glen, which means that as far as the end of this season is looking to go, it's going to be pretty chipper in three different distinctive ways.
Yeah, for sure. Like, drivers have to be on their toes, as they say, in terms of just nailing the speed. I think a lot of people thrown off course by the dirt today, but after that it's firmly on the tarmac. And I think toward the half of the season, people should be getting to grips with the car at this point. So I think the gaps will start to reduce, maybe not on dirt today, but definitely for the last three tracks. And I think we'll see grandstand finishes aplenty, as if we haven't seen them already. Yet, looks like these F4 cars are suiting our competitors, that's for sure.
And let's talk about those standings, because 2 weeks ago was the last time the championship brought itself into play. Sparks has the championship lead by 5 over Greedy Me, with Matt 2-on-2 in third position. The win at Winton, the Aerotech, now puts him into fourth, with the likes of Ryan L83 back in fifth, which is surprising, with Punju and Lamp 6th and 7th. Hayden Gullis is in 8th ahead of Josh's Corner and Super Noodle Bagel, which makes up your top 10 in the championship. And John, as we go over the page, this is a championship that has itself a little bit of a everyone else is trying their best to hold themselves together, but there are still 6 or 7 great contenders out there for this championship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we saw in the Indycar race, there's a lot of people that have the speed and maybe just struggling with the lower downforce of the F4 car or some technical, specifics. So there's quite a few drivers, such as Contant Alonso, for example, that we know can finish right at the top of the standings. But will they get there? There's so many people vying for that top position, and as you can see on an oval, sometimes these cars have maybe not the best visibility when you're drifting sideways, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you've also got to remember that this is a place with a very narrow pit entry, and I don't think they're going to have much of an ability to fuel tonight, so it's 100 laps that they have available to them, and they'll be looking to use them to the best of their abilities. Currently out there in practice with about 15 minutes more time of understanding to get themselves sorted as they work themselves around. So we will get the chance to talk to some of our drivers as soon as they unmute and undeafen and give us the chance then to go and make that happen. But John, as it comes to today and how they're going to be looking to challenge up here in this circuit, I think preservation is going to be the first card of anything that they deal with, especially as a track surface that will get slicker and slicker as they run on the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be one of those days where if you get damage, it might be even difficult to get into pit entry, to be fair. So yeah, it's going to be one of those sessions where, as you say, just keeping yourself in the mix for the victory, as always on an oval, is so difficult. But I think Josh is available for our interview now.
Yeah, we do have Josh's corner here. Josh, which one is your corner? 1, 2, 3 or 4?
None of them. I don't think. I'm trying to get used to it. I'm still trying to figure out how Hayden is getting a 22.7 in his practice sessions. He's got unbelievable pace. So, I'm looking forward to it, though. I think it's a pretty cursed track car combination. I think it's going to create a lot of good opportunities for overtakes, even more opportunities for collisions, I think, and it's going to be good for the viewers as well.
Seeing you've got the Lego F1 cars on the wall there, do you think you could do with a bit of extra downforce or less downforce here for the dirt? Where's the technical...
What makes me laugh is if you do get contact, your race engineer comes across and goes, "Oh, you've got damage on your front wing. You're going to have less grip." It's just like, well, how much less grip can you have, really, right now? So I think a lot of the guys that do have oval experience on the tarmac, they obviously know good corner entry, good corner exit. I don't. This is not only the first time I've driven dirt in iRacing, but it's also the first oval I've ever driven. So I'm going in completely blind. My aim is just to not cause a 10 to 15 car pile-up and see if we can get some pace over the course of the race, I think.
So let's talk trying to get the understanding of the track, learning it for the first time, understanding oval and dirt oval properties as you're going about and racing. How difficult has it been understanding the track as it's evolved during the practice? Because you've got 100 laps worth of racing and the track is very variable from when it's fresh and nobody's run on it compared to when it's completely slick and you can basically see the tarmac underneath.
Yeah, so I've heard that track evolution is going to be a huge thing during the race. One thing, obviously, is the creation of the cushion, which I'd never heard about before. I had to obviously look it up. Obviously, in dirt ovals, if people are swinging it wide and pushing dirt with their right tyres over to the edge of the track, you get what, I mean, in motor race, I used to do motocross, we call them berms. So essentially like a car-sized berm. And I haven't discovered anything yet that's kind of knocked me off centre, but I think over the course of 80 or so laps, whatever we are doing tonight, that we will see some massive changes in the track, and everyone's just going to have to adapt to it as we go along. But I've been on iRacing. This is my 3rd month on iRacing, so I'm fairly new altogether. I would say I'm one of the rookies of the grid. So I think throwing myself into things like this is such a good way to learn quickly. Even if the combination's a bit cursed. But yeah, I will be looking out for track evolution tonight and seeing how that affects the stability of the car and where's quickest and where's not. I think following some of the quicker lads and lasses at the front is probably going to be a good thing to do at the start.
So being a bit cautious at the start then, not willing to attack straight off. We've been talking about how difficult it can be to stay in the mix here.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, there's some guys that are putting in 122s. I think the best I've done is a 123.4, and I think it's all to do with corner entry. I see a lot. Interestingly, I've seen a lot of people take different lines, and I've tried to kind of study people's onboards. There are some people that are going wide in corner entry, wide mid corner, and then cutting it at the end, going back onto the straight. There are some people that are going super wide and sort of diamonding, like kind of a right angle. They're cutting the corner off, which I think, when you're on the track on your own, that will work, but it'll be quite dangerous to do when there's a lot of people packed up. You really need to watch, because once you start swaying to the left or the right, I mean, you're a passenger at that point. And as you know, the F4s, once they lock axles, it's going to be carnage. I think there's going to be a lot of cars in the air or upside down, potentially. Hopefully not. I don't want anybody's race to end, but I think collisions are inevitable, really, on the dirt today.
Well, we will say that a 122 or a 123 would be ancient time around here. I think you'd need a calendar logarithmic clock to try and make sure you can get yourself through at that. But at least for the moment, Josh, just one quick one from me. You're in the top 10 in the championship. Do you hope to stay there tonight?
I do, yeah, I do. And I think it'll be purely based on luck. I've had an amazing experience in rounds 1 and 2. In Spa, we made contact with Punju. Ended up 21st on the grid, came back after a safety car, ended up in, I think it was P10. We got P10 in that. At Winton, we had a very, very eventful race, which was brilliant in the wet. I managed, I think it was a P7 that race. So it's climbing up, and as a rookie, I feel really lucky to have got those positions. Today could be different. I think today could be very damaging. Or if everyone at the front that's got pace wipes each other out, which is a huge possibility, we could get lucky again and find ourselves getting some points and climbing up further. I think we're now, P9 in the championship, which is, as I said, incredible. I never expected to be there, especially in my first season. So let's see. Hope Lady Luck's on my side tonight. That's all I can say.
Well, we will wish you the best of luck with that. Josh's Corner joining us then and bringing in a wonderful case of issue and battle with us today. But it's not just the fact that we got Josh's Corner out there and only 3 months on iRacing inside the top 10 of the Creator Series. That's a wonderful way to go. But also here, we'll get the chance to chat in as we get two to chat with at exactly the same time. So we're bringing in both Lithium Fox and Reska Kyoso, and I suppose we've got VTubers here today as we go and have a little bit of a conversation. You two, how does it feel today hitting dirt with F4?
It's interesting. Can't say I've tried this combination before, but first time for everything, I suppose. We're just trying to figure out how to actually approach this. A long race as well, so yeah, have to think a little about how to manage this one.
How's the pace feeling? Is it pretty consistent? Is it something that you might be used to or maybe a bit unfamiliar with?
Honestly, I'd say that there's just like a lot of drop off on these tires, I think here. We don't have a proper dirt tire, so I think mostly everyone's using the wets right now. And there's a pretty significant drop off as the tires heat up, and it's kind of difficult to deal with, I think. And I think there's going to be some different strategies out there, hopefully. So it'll be kind of cool to see.
We know that 100 laps is going to be a very long time in terms of this race. You are slightly limited on the fuel. Also, you might be hoping for a couple of cautions that come out over the course of the race just to make sure that the fuel numbers hit what is necessary. How do you look at trying to manage this in terms of a long form race and moving through the stages, through the opening to the middle to the end? Do you think that this is going to be one of those races where it is just going to be a case of just buy your ticket?
I think survival is going to be the name of the game, but not only just saving those fast repairs that we have 4 of, but the tires as well. As Liv says, there's a big drop off, and well, you want to have something at the end, don't you? I'm not I haven't done 100 laps of testing, so I'm not sure how these tires are going to be at the end. I don't think anyone here really knows, so whoever figures that out best is going to have the advantage come the end, I think.
Of course, I have to ask the question as well, being part of the VTuber community. Is it a case of you versus the rest, or is there an inter-rivalry in the community here?
Honestly, I personally get along with most of the folks that are in this race. So I think it's going to be, you know, Reska and I, of course, here are definitely going to be probably working together. But I think that a lot of us are just going to get along with everybody else too. You know, it's not us versus everybody else. We're all racers. First and foremost, we're all here to do iRacing. VTubers second to me. I don't know about for you, Reska. You can answer that one on your own.
Yeah, I mean, similar for me, but of course it would be nice to put a VTuber on top in Creator Series, whichever one of us it might be in the end.
Don't mind me. I'm just stirring the coals. Don't mind me. Trying to create a story as usual. You know, commentator stuff.
Setting things on fire. I get it.
Of course, as usual.
Well, my question to both of you, for those who maybe haven't seen you, what is your VTuber lore behind who you are?
Go ahead, Reska. You first.
So I'm an alien race car driver. I conquered my home planet's racetracks, and I've come to challenge the best racers on Earth. But to be honest, they've got hands, and they give me a run for my money. So.
My lore currently is I'm a battery fox. I haven't actually done my deep dive into that yet. It's not something that's been revealed. So as far as everyone is concerned, I'm just a battery fox that races cars.
Oh, the mystery behind that. There's more to be found out. We'll have to wait and see. The story continues, as they say. But, well, hopefully wishing you luck on the course. Is there anything that you're looking out for in terms of trying to avoid certain maneuvers, or do you think you have this oval racing sort of mapped out? So we've done quite a few events now, 2 or 3 in the Creator Series iRacing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different combo to the previous few, though. So, and you know, I'm hardly a dirt racer myself. I think Liv's probably got more experience on this side of stuff, but put it in an F4 car and it's different again. So I'll be trying to figure it out and just see what the race is unfolding like for the first part of this, at least.
It's mostly just the same thing. Mostly just watching out for wrecks, trying not to get squeezed up, I think, on the top. There's a Honestly, I'm more concerned about that. It's something I was just thinking about the past couple minutes. There's a wall that kind of juts out in going into turn 3, and I'm kind of concerned what trouble that's going to cause everybody on the track.
Well, there's a lot to try and unpack and go through. Lith, before we let both of you go, who would win in a race between the battery battles out there between you and the Duracell Bunny?
You know, I think the Duracell Bunny could give me a run for their money, but I think I'd still be faster.
Well, there we have it there. Lithium Fox and Reska Kyoso, they're joining us and giving a wonderful bit of racing analysis in for us. Very quickly, we're going to jump in and get Punju in for a tiny chat as we are under 5 minutes away from racing started. Eli, this has been a very fraught practice, which, as we've expected, has devolved into a mix of actually trying to go fast and actually trying to crash into everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting what we were looking for, right? I mean, I just want to confirm to everybody, this was 100% community vote for whatever reason that decided that we should do this. And it's gone exactly how I was expecting, and I'm enjoying it so much. This is awesome.
You seem to be a pro out there, so I know you do a lot of different racing. Do you think that experience allows you to be a bit more adaptable than everyone else? Are you planning on using that tonight?
I'm definitely going to try. I mean, I think the experience of multiple different series is going to help me just stay away from the danger, because at the end of the day, like, this is a survival race, it's not a speed race. Like, if you make it through this race with very little incidents, you'll do well. So that's all I'm going to be looking to do today, is just try to be locked in, focused, and not get into stupid stuff, as I say that. Yep, there it is.
You appear to have a car on your car.
That's a pretty hefty one there. I think you've got some wheel damage. You may have to tow and repair to get the time gain back. But ultimately for you, how important have those wet tyres been as a substitute for a dirt tyre?
Oh, I mean, it's about as good as you're going to get, right? I mean, at the end of the day, so I used to race a little bit of amateur rallycross and stage rally, and we literally used, like, snow tires for our first rally tires when we were doing grassroots stuff before we wanted to buy studded tires. So, like, it is a known thing to do. Just use, you know, very grooved-in tires, and it works in this stuff, so, yeah.
And in terms of the racing, the racecraft, can you get 2-3 wide in these cars, or is there kind of like an advantage to be on the inside? We see you ramming the other cars, but maybe racing side by side.
Well, I was trying to demonstrate whether or not you could go too wide, and the answer is not really. You can do that much and try. It probably won't work out, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. I think the better move is definitely gonna be single file, being smart, smooth, consistent, and again, everything you can to just avoid damage is the win condition here.
Who do you think's going to step up to the plate compared to everyone else? Because it looks like Hayden Gullis has got a bit of alien pace today.
Hayden's going to find himself in the wall 6 times, and he's going to run at a faster pace for sure. I think that we're going to see a really good run from Aerotech again. He's pretty good at dodging stuff. And also, I see a sneaky run from Super Noodle Bagel today. Those are my two that I think you should watch.
Pretty diverse pace then from... well, obviously the pace is going to be quite close. I mean, it's an oval track, so about 22 seconds lap. So do you think is there any sort of strategy in play? We've heard a lot of people talking about how the pit entry is very difficult. So would it probably be best to stay out, or are there certain people that are going to go for a strategy?
Yeah, I would stay out the whole way through. I wouldn't even try to get new tires. You might want to do them like 30 laps in, because it is 80 laps of this. So you might want to do them around 30, 40 laps in, but yeah, other than that, I don't think it's really worth it. The only problem you have is overheating tires, but you don't have tire wear like at all. Like, it's maybe 1% per lap maximum. So, yeah.
Well then, we'll wish you the best of luck as we head on forward to racing there. Punju joining us then and giving a wonderful demonstration as he was driving around at what is making this circuit tough for our creators today in the iRacing Creator Series. We are just about 45 seconds away from taking a look over towards racing action and the 2 hours maximum on the clock, the 100 laps worth of racing which are put together. I think they were looking for 80. They'll have a little bit more than that. But John, what do you think is the big key to winning this race today?
Well, for a start, I'm a bit perplexed by what Punju said, because if he said 1% tyre wear per lap, we've got 100 laps here, so the maths currently is adding up to be quite on the brink of no return, as they say. I think, honestly, it's like what every driver is saying. You have to keep it clean and not have too many contacts, because unless there's a lot of cautions thrown, then to get laps back is very, very difficult. So you want to be keeping the pace, being in the pack, and just keeping it clean. But that's going to be so difficult. So you'll have to just interpret what other people are doing and just keep a wide space between everyone else.
Now then, when they get themselves set, the grid is going to form. We are under the lights here in sim time at 6:45 in the evening, but it is Killer Cleo who will have control of this field, with Els Indriani alongside, and Cephalosis and Joshimas will be on row number 2. It will then follow with Chesnoy Gaming and Storm Molina 5th and 6th, with Super Noodle Bagel lining up in 7th, and 8th belonging to Josh's Corner, who we talked with a little bit earlier. Hayden Gullis is expected to be the favourite on pure pace. He will have Punju alongside for company on that 5th row, as the inside of row 6 will house Ryan L83 with Aerotech alongside for company then in 12th. 13th is lucky for some, but Matt 212, the Welshman, who will feel like he's very much familiar with all the fields in and around him, and he'll be looking to go from there. Greedy Me is there in 14th position, as Sparks, your championship leader, will line up in P15. Everyone else hasn't made a start this season, so you would look around at the likes of Formula Kai, of Lith Fox, for example, Monkey Matt, who is still back there in the Cookie Monster machine, Big T-Mac, who is there, and as well Reska Kyoso, who rounds out 20 cars then in this field. The last car on the back that we didn't talk about, John, is of course one who some prophesize that is a driver that if they were an interior designer, they would build their house all in tartan kilt, and that of course is the Stag.
Yes, a very characterist person. I think mysterious is the word we could describe. The pace also mysteriously there and also not there at the same time on certain tracks. So will the Stag have anything to play on the dirt oval? We'll have to wait and see. I think it might be a big opportunity, but cutting through the pack is going to be so difficult. That's one thing we have to mention here, is that while other tracks have conventional overtaking spots, here you've got to try and get the run on someone, and so yeah, this might be tricky to come from the back of the pack.
Joshima's then with the most dangerous seat in all of the Creator Series, mainly because he is so close to the stairs out there as he goes through. And he had a nice little look over towards his oven as well, into the kitchen. So you get a nice snapshot into these drivers. And of course, this a circuit, of course, that it has, of course, a number of great snapshots that have gone around it. Of course, it ran an ARCA event as part of the Automobile Racing Club of America, which was the Constructors Palm Beach Grading 250, which was won by James Buscher in a Dodge back in the day. So that certainly gives you an element of where you need to be trying to jump around and finding as much pace as you possibly can. But now as you sit down, who can say, I am the one who will do exactly what is necessary to make this work? And Hayden Gullis has decided here he will start from pit lane.
I think that might be a wise move, to be honest. Just avoiding the chaos, but then again, that puts him quite far back, and you want to reach the pack. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. He's sticking to it. He's got the pace. Why not, as they say?
Well, as the pace truck moves its way through, they get 2 laps to get up to speed and ready here on the dirt, because this is a 3/4 of a mile circuit, which means in the world of this, John, it's short track racing.
Yes, it is, and that means it's a completely different objective, because you don't have such long straights as well. So everything is so one corner to the next. You don't really have time to get the car straight, and you're, as Punju was saying, you overheat the tires and it just compounds. So there's such a technical aspect to it, and I can't wait to see which driver will master those conditions.
This is going to be a tough day, but Killer Cleo's in the front. Els Indriani alongside will look to make a good charge of things to get this racing underway. The pace truck will now look to dive down left off of the dirt and into pit lane, which will leave the control in with Killer Cleo. The green flag drops and we are underway and racing here from USA. A tag already out of 2 and shoot the gap, why don't you? There goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to the bottom of the circuit. Sparks, your championship leaders caught up with Ryan L83.
Yeah, that was such an unfortunate circumstance there of moves. I think I saw Punju caught up in that one as well. So a bit tricky and a lot of tagging going on just because the cars are in such close proximity. All that needs to happen is just a quick tap of the brakes. In fact, it was Elton Driani with a very similar livery. So Punju is still out there in P5 on board with him right now. Aerotech making a good start as well. So people moving up the grid. I think Ryan will be very disappointed with that contact. The opportunity is there, but once again, keeping it clean is very difficult. Monkey Matt in midfield trying to get some moves done, but it's so difficult round the outside. Can they get the traction? I tell you what, they have actually. They've got a Storm, and Killer Cleo has dropped 2 positions there on the inside, not getting any traction on the exit.
No, I think Cleo's not willing to get the car out sideways, and sideways is quick on dirt as they battle for the lead. Josh's corner, trying to go at it with Chesnoy Gaming, who looks like this is a case of Wembley jumpers for goalposts for him as he looks to try and work through. Joshima's trying to sneak an angle. Low sideline then is there, and it is going to work then for Josh's corner, who moves up into the race lead. Chesnoy's going to move to the outside and look for the cushion to form up through this race. So there's certainly a sense of you've got to try and build as much as you can of the circuit and make it fine-tune and fettle to your needs and desires. Super Noodle Bagel out in front of them, 2 picks away. Joshima's cuts down low again, gets good drive off the exit and is going to pick up second.
Whoa, the traction in that machine right now. I mean, it's side by side still. No quarter given right now, but Chesnoy's gone really wide onto the dirty outside, and that's lost at least 2 positions there. Punju getting by as well, so it's not exactly gone to plan, and it just shows how quickly it can go wrong. Punju up the inside of Joshima's there, so it could indeed be a P2, but can we get the traction down though? Just not enough overspeed. That's the defending you've got to do. You've got to keep it as much to the inside as you can, but you've also got to carry the speed. And you can see that Punju gets a run on the inside, but Joshima's is able to open up the corner, and there's the car length, so Punju has to slot back in. Meanwhile, Chesnoy still under pressure. Storm Molina looking to make a move potentially as well, so everything kicking off at the moment in that midfield.
Aerotech up into 4th, and Joshima's clobbers the wall going in through 1 and 2, and so that opens up the chance for Storm Molina in there. Sparks is lap traffic in the middle, and they're going to go right down to the bottom and across the circuit. Bang! There's a hit, there's a secondary one as Ancephalosis is caught up with it and jumped right up into the apex there at turn 3 here on lap 8 of 100. A big smash there as they went through. Look, there's the first tag, and then as they look to try and hold, bang, back across the circuit it goes, and secondary instance, it's so tough to get out of it as Joshima's now goes for the race lead against Josh's corner to see who's top. Josh.
Oh, back to the inside from Joshima's. That was committed and nearly, making it work, obviously, but wow. Josh's corner did well to defend that around the outside, just leaving the space, but you could see the car snap a lot. And what happened between Storm Molina and just everybody that got involved in that incident, to be fair, it just, the tires locked, and you can see that almost right there with Punju nearly locking wheels with Joshima's and Josh's corner at the same time. So tricky to just keep out of contact. And the problem is also if you've got a car going sideways across the track, how do you avoid it? There's such little room when you've got such little grip, but you can see the steering inputs. They're just trying to feel for the grip. You need to sort of wiggle the wheel around from left to right, sort of a zigzag motion to try and feel how much rotation you've got, and that's how you can be fast, just by sensing the grip. Aerotech and everybody in this front pack will know how to do that. It's just a question of literally centimeters difference that gives you the pace or not.
Well, they're driving on a tightrope, and Punju here is looking to move up to the race lead and pick that off and say, this is where I'm starting to find my abilities. Down low again, searching, and the bottom line is really forming up, and there's contact wheel to wheel, not once, not twice, but thrice, and a big slide by Joshimus, and Punju is going to move up to the race lead. Josh's corner now sits in the middle of it, and there's the tag around for the pair of them. Big slam into the wall for Josh's corner, who will now have damage on the front.
Yeah, I think lost the rear wing as well, so let's see what happened here. So Punju on the inside, Joshimus on the outside, Josh's corner. Joshimus tries to do the switchback, but Josh's corner is there, and they lock wheels and into the barrier on the inside there. That is so unfortunate. But again, it happens. You've got limited visibility. You can't exactly see what's going on around you. There's also debris on the track, which is not ideal. And around, that is a big, big shunt for Formula Kai. Not much he could have done about that. Just a passenger once they made contact.
As well. Joshimus as well. I think that is...
Oh, was with Joshimus.
Yeah, so that's the key. Joshimus has that initial hit. Now watch Joshimus. He comes back across the circuit. He's missing his rear wing, which I think was departed. He hits the wall, and then he gets absolutely smashed into there by Josh's corner, who just come out of the pit. So it is a very tough scenario there. And with the debris on circuit, I am surprised we haven't seen a caution come out yet with the unsafety car for it. But it is going to be a tough old start to this race. They've already ticked off about 13 to 15 laps, and we've got a slew of cars down in the lane. Only 10 out there, or 8, sorry, on the lead lap.
Yeah, so unfortunate. You could see from Joshua's perspective, he's just steering all the way to the right.
Matt's got 2 tyres.
Yeah, that is not ideal. But there's a lot going on in this race. As you said, a lot of cars in the pits trying to repair the damage at the moment. So, yeah, this is just divulging into chaos. And, yeah, I think a lot of drivers struggle. Is that a caution thrown? I think it is. Yes, caution has been thrown. As you can see, quite an unconventional safety car, that's for sure.
It is a beautiful Acura out there, and it is the Acura of dreams, and I am sure everyone of a certain age, John, has had a race of some description on that car.
Yeah, for sure. One of the most enduring sort of endurance race cars, you know, and well, I think quite a few people are just trying to get their bearings around the course still. We're seeing a lot of cars going skedaddling, trying to get the laps back. But yeah, I don't think that will be very fun to drive on this track for sure. One, way too much power, and two, on the rain tires, does it even have any grip whatsoever? We're seeing a little bit of weaving, but it's not really doing very much, is it? It's like a boat going round.
Well, it is very tough out there when you can't use power. So this is the start crash that we had a look at. So this set off a bit of Diana Ross racing here, because here comes Sparks to the mix, and look, he's got nowhere to go. He very much gets stuck in the middle of a chain reaction.
Yeah, so unfortunate. You got Matt 212 involved in that as well. So a lot of drivers just getting damage from the offset. The good news is they can actually rejoin the pack and get the laps back, so all is good from there. Problem is you actually need to find a way through the pack, and there you can see the incident. So I mean, yeah, what can you do? He was full on the anchors, locked up, and there was still nowhere to go. That's so unfortunate for Sparks, that's for sure. But the good news is they're catching up to the back of the pack. They will have another opportunity, and you know, it's a long race stint, so there's not many problems to make your way back at this point. And I will say also, having an incident earlier on is probably better than at the end, because at least you have laps to get the positions back.
That is very true, but also, John, you have to note that lap 1 incident, as Sparks was the last one into the crash, he has to pay all the insurance claim.
True. Yeah, and on an F4 car, I don't want to know the cost, to be fair. Yeah, my wallet's already burning in my pocket. Yeah, it's... I mean, the problem is also all the carbon fiber debris, as we said. You know, it leaves a lot of just material on the track, which can lead to all sorts of stuff like punctures and all of that. So that's why most of the cars that do dirt racing are not carbon fiber. They are a more flexible material, because contact is expected to be made on a dirt oval.
Now, there are a few chats out there that Ryan83 is going for pit lane and was looking to box. So this will be for him a case of can he go and get tyres sorted. There is a car that is stopped on the inside. It's Matsu on 2 who has pulled it over to one side. So we'll need to be getting back out and up to speed once again. And I would argue at slower speeds, it's even tougher than faster speeds, because you don't have, John, at these quicker speeds, the downforce available to keep the car planted on the floor. And so that makes life even tougher to keep control of a car that you're trying to battle around sideways, because you've only got the mechanical grip. There's a reason why you see some of the big block modifieds out there put, you know, a Perspex panel on the side to make it go quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And also, important facts to note, the underfloor downforce from the floor and the diffuser won't work as well because the surface is very uneven. And you see that in sort of rallycross or rally racing where they have just a flat underfloor, because it literally makes almost no difference, maybe 1%, 2%. But yeah, it's so difficult to generate that consistent downforce that these F4 cars or any Formula cars needs, to be fair. And that will mean it's just unstable. So ideally what you want to do is carry a lot of speed into the turn, slow it down on the apex, if you can call it that, and then just plant the throttle once again to get out of the turn. But the problem is, when you're racing side by side, that is next to impossible. It's like we were talking about in the interviews during the practice session just before the race, is there's one line that's a fast line, but it's only in theory. Can it actually be done during the race?
Ryan has now been confirmed that he's got a rear wing. He was moving out in the line to check, do I still have a rear wing, yes or no? And the answer is yes, he does. Into the pits then comes Aerotech from the race lead. So that will certainly pull things back around, looking to get that pit stop sorted. And that will be to get into tyres and new tyres out there, because you don't want to be out there on the long stick. Or Aerotech is going to go for the cheeky strategy of, I'll just take the pit lane just cuz.
Yeah, that might be an interesting one, that's for sure. It might be that. Look at him. He might be slotting back into... No way, but into P1. Yeah, indeed. It might be that. You're quite correct. But it also tyres, yes, it does make a difference. You know, just having that, even if it's 3 or 4 laps, if they're less overheated, if they've got a better tyre temperature than those around you, then maybe just for a brief amount of time you can have a bit of an advantage. And on such a low grip track, that can actually transform into a big boost of confidence. As the Cookie Monster, well, there's a lot of things that the Cookie Monster wants to eat, and I can guarantee you that gravel and dirt is not one of them.
Yeah, there is Monkey Matt. The Cookie Monster is in play. A couple laps we're hearing before we go back to running. Now, we're not running the dirt style in terms of running this, John, where caution laps do not count, because in racing out there on dirt, traditionally, any laps under a safety car or an unsafety car or behind the pace truck normally don't count for dirt racing.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, that's just so that the race can finish, or at least have the most action possible. You know, it's understandable from that point of view. I think mainly the reason might be for the F4 cars is that they'd run out of money due to the amount of car parts that are currently spewed across the track, although those have been picked up now. So yes, we are hearing that the unsafety car will be in this lap, and as we can see some drifting, this definitely will end badly.
Well, it's Aerotech in control of the field. It's then Storm Molina and Punju. Greedy Me is fourth. The Monkey Matt in P5. Hayden Gullis has made his way up to P number 7, just behind Big T-Mac, and the Aussies and the Kiwis have a good history of dirt-style racing on dirt ovals in Australia. Green flag back in the air. Lap 24 of 100 brings ourselves back underway again, and Aerotech with a lovely launch off of the front, as now the lines start to form up top and bottom.
Yeah, Hayden Gullis had a great restart, but was boxed in, really, not much he could do. Monkey Matt has gained a position because of that, as Reska Kyoso on the sort of midfield there, you can see the yellow car just getting boxed out by everybody and falling down the order. That's looking Fox around the outside. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but at the front, Aerotech has stormed away with a little bit of a lead. Storm Molina not exactly having the drive, and in the barrier is that Lithium Fox. It is maybe a little bit of damage, but the wings are still there.
Yeah, but you got to be careful through each and every single section. I think it was contact with Josh's corner, who was immediately on the radio, got sideways, and that's just what happens. Tad's front to rear, you've got to leave room for the outside rear tyre. You never expect that you've got clearance as you're trying to work it. Great lines being thrown by Hayden Gullis, who goes down to the low side to try and pick up the run on Big T-Mac, and also there trying to get it done on Monkey Matt. Will manage it as Matt is stuck on the outside, and in front of that, in comes Aerotech. Then into the pits, struggling about, has to take a tow because I think there's some issues out there for Aerotech running at the moment, which will cede the lead to Storm Molina.
Oh, that's so disappointing for Aerotech. You know, the pace is there. This is one of the events, I think, where he could have a very strong result, and there's time to come back for sure. But if there's a mechanical issue with some of his equipment, that's a very unfortunate one, as Punju is looking very aggressive right now to try and take the lead here. Storm Molina leaving the gap on the inside, but not enough for Punju to just steam up the inside and say, hey, this line is mine. Very clever defensive strategy. Up the inside goes Hayden Gullis, though, into P3 from P7 at the restart. That is what you call taking a storm.
Yeah, and looking to take a storm as well as Punju for the race lead. Monkey Matt is the biggest places game, but remember that Hayden Gullis started down from pit lane, so our graphic is a little deceptive. Greedy Me and Monkey Matt on for fourth, and it's been a couple laps side by side for Storm Molina and Punju. Punju has to finally see, takes a big amount of turn and rotation through, trying to get the line sorted, as now Hayden Gullis jumps up on the rear and says, you know what, this is my scene, I'm going to try and find a way. Big slide going through the corner, massive incident in front, shoots the gap, big incident there, 3, 4, 5 cars all caught up.
Yeah, I think that was Matt 212 and Killer Cleo that had just had some contact. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the front three came across just this incident, and I think that is Killer Cleo. But who else was it? I don't think it was Matt 212. Let's see if we can get another angle from
this is how quickly it goes from hero to zero. So shoot the gap through the middle, why don't you? And it looks like one of the black and white machineries there. I think it's Ancephalosis who's trying to get back right now with 3 wheels on the wagon. Safety car has been deployed, so that will bring pacing back down. Oh, and Hayden's been blocked! Hayden's been blocked by Ancephalosis!
Oh, that's so unfortunate with damage on the car. I mean, Ancephalosis can't get back. I don't want to know what is going through Hayden's mind right now. He must be losing it. That is... And the worst thing is Ancephalosis had to tow back to pits just because the car is undrivable. What a situation. Storm Molina coming in with 3 wheels on the wagon. I mean, that is a chaotic pit line entry. We talked about it, how it might be a problem. I did not expect that.
And in the words of Michael Cole, vintage Creator Series.
Most definitely. I mean, I thought we'd seen everything, but apparently not. We continue to rewrite the scripts, and I must say, shout out to whoever is writing the scripts, because honestly, they're on point at this point in time. So we have, at the moment, Greedy Me in the lead with Joshua's second, Big T-Mac completing the top 3. A lot of people on different strategies at this point coming into the pits. Yeah, this is chaos and confusion as always. And apparently I write the scripts. Good to know, because I didn't know I could read.
Well, you don't need to read to write, and John does very well with the scripts, apparently, that we have running along. So there is still going to be a lot to try and unpack in this race. Lap 33 out of 100. We go back further down in the pack to see who sits themselves up with a good opportunity then to move forward. I think this is going to be one of those races here, John, where I don't think you can put much credence on where everyone is on lap 33. I think the credence is going to have to be put who's there at lap 73.
Yeah, it's one of those things to just keep yourself out of contact. I mean, I think everybody in the field has been involved in some sort of incident at this point, but with effectively enough fuel to get to the end, and tyres, although they'll overheat, they will get to the end. So here's what happens. So Ancephalosis with a huge amount of damage, Storm Molina with even more damage somehow. Let's see. So yeah, just the rear of the car letting go, and the car is just not turning. Look at it. I mean, the front right tyre is done. There's no steering, you can see. And he's trying to get into the pits, and then Hayden just out of nowhere. I mean, Hayden's entitled to try to get to the pits. I don't even think Hayden was trying to go in the pit lane, to be honest. But it just happens that you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, and yeah, that's what happens in racing.
Yeah, that is something that happens, and we will see it time and again. And as that incident came into play, it was one that certainly traded a lot. Oh, and there's another hit there on the replay, and it shows you how quickly it goes wrong. So Ancephalosis pretty much had nowhere to go, and then Killer Cleo came back across, and there was the hit. So Ancephalosis trying to get back to leading lap out there, and drivers including Sparks and the Stag as well just trying to go through. I just drive the car, says Lith there on the Halo, looking to work through. And drive the car, well you do, sir, in P5.
Yeah, drive the car, but other people choose to drive their car into yours as well. That appears to be the problem at the moment. That unfortunate contact with the wall earlier on has led to them being mid-pack once again. P5 at the moment, which is pretty much where they were, maybe a couple of positions gained, but they haven't lost out in this, that's for sure, as the unsafety car is still very keen on getting going again. Still people getting their laps back. So you can see Ancephalosis just testing the grip here a little bit, and it seems like they've got the measure of the car, but again, certain people taking different lines just means that there will be inevitably some contact to be made, some problems mid-corner. And you can see the concentration. It looks poetic. It looks like a well-oiled machine just drifting, but it takes a huge amount of skill to keep it pointed and drifting like that throughout every single turn.
Lithium Fox in the pits, Reska Kyoso also in the pits, 2 to green as Aerotech is going to come down pit lane as well. So a few decisions being made. Ancephalosis struggling to get that turn through. It's going to be difficult when you go onto pit lane, and especially in these conditions, because you're going from dirt over onto asphalt again.
Yeah, for sure. And it's such a narrow pit entry that you don't want to be going too fast because you'll miss it and maybe even crash into the barrier. So very, very tricky. And when you've got cars approaching at such a high speed, you have to almost drift into the pit lane. And that leaves it even more vulnerable.
The Stag does not concern himself with proper track position. He leapfrogged the leaders and thought he had an extra wave around than necessary, and now has parked it to one side to get back into the track position that the Stag should be in. So end of the line for the Stag, then looking to get back up to speed. The pace in control of Greedy Me, and how much will he look to try and feast next lap around?
Yeah, the Stag, not a very talkative fellow, to be honest. We did try to get some comments in previous races for the incidents, but all we got is a grumble, and then they went back to reading the Haynes manual for Formula 3 car. I think they're looking for a promotion somewhere.
Yeah, that would certainly do it. And as well, I saw them reading the book upside down, which indicates potentially some nationality, but I'm not too sure about it. But at least right now, it will be about this frantic restart that they deal with then, as there goes the Acura moving on forward. Beautiful out there. I had one of those mats when I was little as well, and very much with that livery, I'm sure there's been so much amazing racing that has been conducted, multiple championships of many varieties and many different cars that have found themselves there. So control of the race is control with Greedy Me. He cannot go until the unsafety car has been giving the launch, and it is expected now that the green is in the air. And who has been quick on the draw? What a launch there from Ryan L83, who's up now into third and will be high up second on Joshima's on the restart here.
Wow, he just planted it and it gripped and he just went with it. That was incredible. He is up to P2 at the moment, has the inside and almost can shut the door. Meanwhile, Punju battling with Josh's corner and a few other cars in the background as well. Formula Kai and Matt 212, I think, had a brief moment of contact there. Matt 212 has dropped a few positions, but Punju has managed to maintain P4 for the moment. Here we go with Chesnoid as well. Lithium Fox, I think, has had a brief collision as well. So, Chesnoid and Reska Kyoso dropping down the order as well with a bit of contact. So, a lot happening in a short space of time.
Oh, look out at the lead as we're on board here in the middle of the pack for the moment. It is so busy up at the front. Ryan L83 to the outside of Greedy Meat. Punju up to third. Past Joshima's for position. And now hold the middle of the road. They're going to go screaming by. Punju to the lead.
Wow, what did he have? A push to pass button? That was incredible. Just found the grip, found the traction, and went with it. You can see a line starting to form. So this is the point where the experienced drivers will be able to find a little bit of extra grip and know where the grip drops off. And you can see Punjo just absolutely cruising off into the distance. Ryan is still being challenged. Matt 212 briefly up to P3, nearly contact. Greedy Me having to take avoiding action. Very well seen there. Joshima's still challenging for P4 at the moment. And it looks like Aerotech makes his way back up the order as well. But good to see that the issues have been resolved. In the midfield, nothing short of chaos.
Yep, it's been very tough. Big T-Mac losing the place to Aerotech. There's Hayden Gullis trying to work away by on Formula Kai for position. So there's everywhere you go a little battle, and they are worried about that wall coming off into turn number 3, because any tag of that is going to be difficult. And there's again another little look. Oh, it's a spin behind. There's a big chunk up behind. Sparks is caught up in it again. Josh's corner. Hayden Gullis is in it, and so too Stormaline. It's a 6-car incident, and it could be more.
Aye. That just is another incident where it just leads from one car to another. I think we're about to have a replay of it. So on board here with Josh's corner, I think this is. So running wide. I'm guessing there's, just trying to rejoin, and there's a car that has just collected Josh's corner. So again, two lines converging, and as you can see, everybody is just piled into, and there's the rest of the cars coming around. You can't really see. So what happened here? So Josh's corner takes a wide line.
Oh, Hayden.
Oh yeah, just collect it, and there's nothing you can do there. So Hayden just trying to be a bit too ambitious, I think, in that context. What do you think?
I think Hayden tried to be a superhero. I just think that he's realised that he's not Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far, as they say. It's unfortunate because Hayden has the pace, but we were talking about this again pre-race, saying that there's a line and he's using it, but is it the fastest line during the race? Because it's quite difficult to pull off. And there is another caution thrown out. So staple of the Creator Series, the script. I mean, you can thank me later for this script. I mean, I have no idea what I was on when I was concocting this one, but it seems to be pretty good from what I've seen.
I believe, John, you were on the Control C button, and then very quickly afterwards the Control V button.
Yeah. Yes. That that would explain a lot of things for sure. I just took the safety car and just copy pasted it in. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that seems to be the description of all of our races. Maybe I should change it up somehow. But indeed, we still have Punju in the race lead with Matt 212 and P2 at the moment. It depends on whether people pit for a new set of tyres, just to again get rid of that overheating problem. But laps behind the unsafety car, which must be running out of fuel at this point with how many laps it's done, will help to cool the tyres a little bit, at least. As you can see, Josh's corner going past there, getting some lovely, valuable laps of drifting. Quite useful, actually, to gauge the grip of the cars, I must imagine, so it might give them a little bit of an advantage to carve through the field again.
Well, it's just like being at home for Matt 212. I think that's the reason why he's got there up into second position. It's, I would say, with the livery he's got, in all due respect, it might not be the Braves, but it's certainly the Brawn.
Nice. Yes, very good one. I like that. But definitely, I mean, he's going for the minimalist look, isn't he? And definitely just under the radar to get into P2, really. Just steered clear of the incidents. Again, one of our earlier drivers that got caught up in a little incident, but since then, it's just carved their way up through the field. And I'd say Aerotech has a very good chance of moving up positions as well. The pace is certainly there. And as for our pre-race favourites, like Hayden Gullis, Ryan and all of that have the pace normally, they've just been involved in crash after crash after crash. Not necessarily their fault, but if they want to win this one, they've got to clean it up a little bit.
Well, if you get mired in the back of the pack here, John, you've obviously got to work your way back through it, and you're not going to get through it any quicker unless you're going to get a lot of green flag running, and we're ticking over towards the halfway stage of this race. So it's all about how many fast repairs do you have available in the back pocket to use. They've only got 5.
Yeah, and that's a big problem if you've been involved in 3 or 4 incidents, because it also hampers your ability to go for the risky moves. If you know that the next time you have an incident you're out, it means you have to be cautious, and that can lead in itself to an incident, because you back out of it and then you get some snap oversteer or whatever, and then you're in the wall and it's game over. So a lot of it will come down to how intelligent you've played this race out, but a lot of it isn't in your hands, as they say. If somebody decides to steam up your inside, you've got to deal with it. And I think that's the crux of the issue, really. You've got to convince the people around you that you've got to work together to make your way up the field without having any incidents. That seems almost impossible to me.
Well, the impossible can be made possible, and reality can be found even in the darkest of times for those who think that this may be a simulation too far for them. But for Punju, he's found a wonderful line. He's now at the front of this field. Matt 212 behind him, Aerotech in 3rd, and you got drivers like the Stag back there in 6th, Formula Kai in 8th, Ryan L83 in 10th. It's all about control. The Acura has pulled away and is going to now get the ability to slide down into the pits. There is the Stag, who is there in P number 6. We'll need to get by the Kiwi Monkey Matt, who is there in front in the Cookie Monster, 5th place, 07. But Punju now moving down low, looking to get drive off of this exit. It will be lap 49 out there of 100, and the launch is now in play, back underway here at USA, and already Aerotech to the outside of Matt 212 to go and get the pass. Easy pickings.
Hayden Gullis in the midfield just decided, hey, I'm going to steam up the inside of everybody, and somehow they're all still in one piece. But you know, that is going to be such a crazy story if he can make moves like that stick, because he will. I mean, he's the fastest person on track with Ryan L83, the only people in the 23 zeros in terms of lap time. But you know, can it be consistent? You know, Hayden, oh, in the wall, that is the Stag. The Stag's binned it.
Well, the Stag has seemingly run out of a little bit there, and I think got a tag from behind going through the middle. That would have been Formula Kai into the rear wheel, not once but twice, and the Stag just gets dumped up on the top side. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, Formula Kai deciding to use the Stag as a brake, and yeah, that's not ideal. I think there's a few antlers that might be thrown in the pit lane.
Well, Ryan L83 here, remember, started 10th on this restart. It's only been about 3 laps. And look at him, he's going for the race lead here. Straight down low on the inside, it works, and they're stopping up behind Ancephalosis, who's lap traffic. And Ryan's got a gap. List and Reska are 2nd and 3rd.
Well, they said they try and work together. It's certainly working out for the moment. Look at that. Aerotech gets past Matt 212, who was, I think, caught a little bit by Ancephalosis there. But that is the problem. You have to negotiate through lapped traffic. So you can see there Matt and Hayden Gullis battling as well. Hayden ran the outside. He will get the run, but contact once again. They're not paying attention to the tyres and to the fact that if the suspension gets trapped, they are most certainly heading into the barrier. So Matt 212 managing to avoid any damage from that, I think, but it was very, very close. And Hayden has again the charge on Aerotech, but Aerotech is such a great defender on these races. He will just park it where you don't want a rival car to be, and he'll make it so difficult. Both of them are quite aggressive. Hayden to the inside, it just looks like that car at the moment is on fire.
Well, he can rotate it better than anybody else at the moment through the middle of the corners, and Aerotech can't even find a way of making it happen. So you're looking around and seeing this is how tough it's going to be. Greedy Me in the middle of this with Joshy Mus. Chesnoy Gaming scrapping with Josh's corner behind, but everybody's trying to find a little line that works for them. Oh, there's a tag in the wall. It's Joshy Mus, and he just about avoids Greedy Me. They'll pull 3 wide off the exit. Bang! There's the hit just as we go to replay there with Big T-Mac as they go through. And this is what happens when you start trying to sniff for an angle through. There's more dramas out there as Round is going to go Josh's corner again.
Yeah, that was never really going to happen. And, that was a completely unrelated tag as well by card 63. That's Big T-Mac, as you said. And then they get involved, I think, with Chesnoid Gaming as well. So it just all kicks off from one little incident, and the issues carry on for the entire lap.
Killer Cleo is stranded over at turn 2, and everyone's going to have to try and work a way around to try and get through. Chesnoid's going to have a tap. I think here, Killer Cleo's got no safe way of getting off the racing line. Only now manages it after a lap and a half.
Yeah, well done, well recovered, very patient. That's the only thing you can do, and now you've got to get it back up to speed, which is even more difficult because you haven't got the traction. So, yeah, I mean, what an issue that is. I think encephalosis on the inside also going slow. So a lot of stuff happening. This is Super Noodle Bagel and Formula Kai, I think, battling as well. So the midfield at the moment is just swapping positions left, right, and centre. As you can see, I think a little bit of damage on the rear of Formula Kai's car, and that means the car is just sliding. And you can see on board from the perspective of Super Noodle Bagel how just difficult the pit lane entry is, how slow you have to go, and how unsighted a car on the inside is until the last second.
Yeah, and he'll be thinking, oh beans, inside that car at the moment as Hayden Gullis is through on Reska Kyoso, now eyeing up Lith Fox for position. Lithium Fox is doing just enough to keep this one away from being an absolute runaway. Drivers are serving the black and orange mechanical flags because there are a lot that are going through. Bit wide there by Lith, and that will open up for Hayden Gullis. Thank you very much. He will comfortably now dispatch that and have 2.5 seconds to chase to Ryan L83. This would be a huge boon for him, championship-wise, if he could pull this back after the disaster he had going for the win against Sparks just 2 weeks ago.
Gap about every lap is about 0.2 of a second for the moment, just waiting for the times to cross the line. So basically an identical lap time that last lap, so it's going to be so difficult to close in. I think what Hayden Gullis has to just wait for is Ryan to get caught in traffic or something that just forces him to check up. Although, you know, you have the same problem trying to get through the traffic yourself. So Ryan's just caught Chesnoid and overtaken Chesnoid as well. So yeah, there's a lot of technical things to do to be at the forefront of this race, and it's just a question of keeping it clean now. You've got the pure pace, you've got the relatively open track now as everybody sort of settles into their pace under green flag conditions. Can you keep it going?
Well, Formula Kai's struggling to go places. He's just lost the lap, comes back around. Oh, he's almost taken Hayden out. Just about avoids it there. What great car control by Hayden Gullis to avoid that one. Formula Kai takes the tow, but that has really cost him progress.
Hayden must be cursing that pit entry, because that's twice now that he's been caught out by that through no fault of his own. I mean, you know, what can he do? Oh, it wasn't even on pit entry. It was literally on the start-finish line. That's crazy. I guess Formula Kai's been into the wall and just got just damage to the drivetrain and can't move really. So yeah, that brings Lithium Fox back into play, and Reska Kyoso as well by extension. So yeah, it's all kicking off for a moment as we've only got battles in the midfield at the moment. Oh, that's a big contact. Who's that? That's Josh's corner.
Oh, it's upside down. Surely that's got to be an unsafety car. My God. Oh, and hit into it. Chesnoid Gaming's caught Josh's corner, who's gone upside down again, and surely they're going to have to get the crews out to him.
There's Monkey Matt involved in that one because I see a Cookie Monster rear wing, so that can only be one car. Let's see. So Monkey Matt collides with, is that Big T-Mac? And then Josh's corner just gets, well, hurtled into the barrier. And then, oh, wow, that's unfortunate for Chesnoid. I'm not sure really what was happening there. Probably no grip, but yeah, just adding insult to injury there.
It's a massive hit. You never like to see a driver upside down, and so that puts dramas into play. Unsafety car is out, and so at lap 67 at the 2/3 distance, Ryan L83 will see Hayden Gullis back into play, and almost everybody is diving for the pits for tyres.
What a drift by Hayden into there. I was convinced he was going in to the water barrel at the pit entry there, but seemed to succeed. Seemed to have that well practiced, to be fair. So he's probably stopping for a fresh set of tires. Probably not a refuel, but just to maybe even fix some damage. There might be a tiny bit of damage on the car, but looking at that, no, probably just tires. So you can see quite a few cars not with a fast repair anymore. I think that a few of those drivers might actually be in there for the long run, as they say.
Well, the long run will be important, and as those drivers come back out again, they will know they will fall back into line, and almost everyone taking this moment to say, yeah, the tyres are second hand, and we're trying to navigate through the best that we possibly can. It's been, I would say, a very anonymous day for the likes of Sparks, for example, who's just been behind the 8 ball all day as a championship leader. So this is a real shake-up for what this championship is. Reska Kyoso will look around and see Lift Fox there in 5th place. Matsu 1-2, back to 3rd again.
Yeah, I was just looking at how Matt's car was handling, and really, it's really bizarre what's going on. I think Matt's out of position. Yeah, I think he's gone 1 lap too many. We'll have to wait and see here. We'll get this sorted out. But just looking, he's in the pit lane. Oh, he's clipped the pit entry as well. That is the danger that I foresaw there. So probably coming in to fix something or to get a fresh set of tires. But when you looked him exiting the pit exit, you could see the tires just constantly spinning up, no traction to be found whatsoever. And then above a certain speed, it was okay. The car was gaining grip again. So it just emphasizes that if you stall the car out on the apex of a corner, trying to get a rotation to undercut somebody, for example, you might end up stalling out completely, losing all traction and spinning out. So it's a very technical type of racing and very low grip scenario.
The drivers have just been called out by the unsafety car team. They've just said here, John, no crashing under the unsafety car, please.
Yes, indeed, that is a little bit problematic. I think people just getting a little bit exuberant trying to drive and trying to feel the grip. And yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Unsafety car, for once, is not crashing. So, you know, you've got to give them credit and respect that as a driver. So, yeah, it's one of those things, I think. The car is very different.
They've all the in-car aids, haven't they?
Yeah, well, true. Yes, very true for the unsafety car. For the F4 cars, probably not. But I think some of these incidents are just happening because people are being a little bit careless on throttle and on the brakes. They're arriving sort of steaming to the back of the queue, and then they're not braking in time and just going straight into the back of somebody, for example.
Yeah, and so they need to be very aware of the checkup time, and especially braking distances on dirt, on wet tyres in an F4. Who has ever practiced that?
Maybe a driver going into a gravel trap during a free practice session. I can guarantee you it's not something that you practice out of free will, I can tell you that much. So, yeah, I guess the amount of practice will depend on the amount of skill issue that a driver has. So that's a paradox, isn't it? I guess the more inconsistent that you are, the more practice you have for today. I need to write another script on that one.
You do. It is very tough. I can confirm at the moment that the unsafety car is running around at 50 kilometers an hour right now. So let's call that highway speeds at this moment that they're running at this stage. I think they might actually be quicker in some of the RVs and vans that are lining turns 3 and 4.
Yes, indeed. That's a frightening thought for what is a hypercar just poodling around a dirt track. I mean, yeah, certainly it would be a spectacle to see the RVs racing around, though. I'd pay good money to see that, actually.
I would too, and that is why Irwindale Speedway exists.
Indeed, yes, you're quite right on that one. It's fascinating, the amount of different racing series they have in the States. And to be honest, this track, the history of it, really involved in so many different competitions and just one-off events, different formats of racing as well. Just all to essentially, that was so close, warming up the tyres. I'm not sure why the unsafety car needs warm tyres. We'll gloss over that fact, but the wall is beckoning, the call of the void right there.
Yeah, so just trying to get up to speed. They are having to wait this amount of time here at the moment because Formula Kai is currently 4 laps down and trying to unlap to get back on the leading lap again. So we're going to have to wait for Formula Kai at the moment before we have the opportunity to run and get some opportunity here. But this is a good chance for Formula Kai to get into the spotlight. We'll see the run through here into turns 1 and 2, really trying to pin the car down low, keep as minimal steering as possible. 2 to green, so you're going to have to be quick here, Kai.
Yeah, you can see from the onboard here that the grip level will change because the track is starting to reveal that sort of polished surface underneath, which can make the grip of the car paradoxically a little bit better, but also a little bit more snappy. And there's another collision. I think that's Killer Cleo involved with the Stag. Not again the Stag. The Stag is not having an easy day, let's put it that way. Nor is Killer Cleo, to be fair. So what's happened here? Everything looks normal so far.
I think Cleo's brake checked the Stag here, sped up, and then the Stag's looked at it and gone, oh, we can go quicker, and then the Stag's not realised, oh wait, no, we can't.
Yeah, Killer Cleo left that late to brake, so again,
that's on the Stag in my view.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, definitely 75% on the Stag, but Killer Cleo was a bit abrupt on the braking, but for sure, the Stag was polishing the antlers, I guess, or something like that.
Well, Killer Clear is going to have to come to pit lane. She's got a car that is crabbing sideways the wrong way, so that will be that pretty much done for her, as she will have to get the repairs done and then back out on circuit once more. We do see a car in, that's Ancephalosis hitting pit lane and just trying to stay out of trouble, but this is where you need to keep your calm with 25 or 26 laps to go. When we next go back around, Ryan L83 in control, then it's Hayden Gullis, then it's your VTubers, Reska Kyoso and Lithium Fox, with Aerotech in 5th, with Greedy Me in 6th, and Formula Kai dancing away to try and get that lap, and that is the final lap that Formula Kai needed there to get back onto the lead lap just in the nick of time for the Canadian. It's now a case of, can you set yourself up in the final stages of this race? It is going to be about keep your nerve and know that this has been tough to try and find a long run. So Ryan L83 on this moment of time, it's been over 45 minutes worth of racing, but now the final stage is there. Hayden is jumping at the bit to try and get going forward. Green flag out and we're racing again.
Yeah, you have Map212 trying to get a jump on the restart. Didn't really find the traction on the inside there. But one person that did is Aerotech to the inside, forcing everybody to the outside line. Reska Kyoso falling foul to it. Super Noodle Bagel dropping positions as well. I think there's been contact in that midfield. But there is a battle with Greedy Me just surrounded by cars as Aerotech looks to take that P3. Has taken that P3, but has to defend it. Meanwhile, the top two are fighting. Ryan L83 trying to defend valiantly at the moment, but Hayden looks relentless.
He does, and on the back of Ryan L83, who's one of the great wheelers in anything that he sets his mind to, and now trying to find the right lane, and that bottom, absolute bottom, is working right now at the moment, and they are trying to keep themselves together at this stage. Again, the outside trying to work the Oracle again is Hayden Gullis, but he's just there. It's too clear, and Aerotech and Greedy Me, best of the rest in this scrap for third. Low side goes Greedy.
Yeah, they just haven't managed to just get away from the rest of the pack, and that battling side by side is dropping them a couple of seconds, tenths of a second, I should say, per lap. A couple of seconds would be a bit extreme, but the top two battling the same as well. Greedy Me still has the slight advantage for that P3, but it's still side by side with Aerotech forcing it round the outside, getting the better traction, getting the better overspeed.
Bang! Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars all caught up. Monkey Matt, Super Noodle Bagel, Punju's in the middle of it. Still going. One's going to run the catch fence. Upside down is Joshima's. Unsafety car out.
So unfortunate what happened there. It just appeared out of nowhere on our camera. And the incident's already happened. I mean, who started that. It's just a chaos because they're all exiting the corner. They're committed. They are full speed sideways. Oh, was that Monkey Mat just taking out Joshima's? I think it was. That is very, very unfortunate there. Just a bit careless not looking in the mirrors, I think, in that one.
It's a massive incident. There's a huge chain reaction. I was listening to the unsafety car team on the call. It was unsafety car is out. Look, that's the tag that initially has it. So Killer Cleo's round, damage there on the car, and then trying to just find a way to get back off the circuit again. And so that was a case. Oh, and someone reverses back to try and make pit lane, and then there's the hit. So that is very poor driving standard, if I'm going to be quite honest about that. If you miss the exit, you're going to have to go back round again.
I don't mean to be harsh, but you have 15 different things you could possibly do, and you choose to select reverse on an oval. Yeah, okay. That's not ideal, let's put it that way. So, yeah, that's created a load of chaos, and I don't even know where to start with that one. It's just so unfortunate, Killer Cleo just having nowhere to go. I mean, Killer Cleo, to be fair, did very well to get off of the racing line on that one. Let's give credit where credit is
it's
needed.
Kai. Had just fought back 6 laps down to get back on the lead lap, and then has reversed out on circuit, trying to make pits again after getting caught in an incident. That is not his best look for Formula Kai. I will say that much.
Yeah, I mean it's been rough. Probably maybe a bit of head loss there with various incidents. Let's see what happens here. I mean, Josh's corner. Oh no, you can't believe it, can you? It just happens. Josh's corner is not at the center, I will say, but involved in incidents. And I can see what's happened here now. The steering is broken. He's trying to get into the pit lane. And there's Killer Cleo just blocking the path. I'm not saying Killer Cleo's done anything wrong, but just trying to reverse it.
Missed it.
I mean, well, good reactions. That's the answer. But everybody else just doesn't have the chance because they've got a car in front of them. So by the time they see the incident, they have no time left to react to it. So I can see what Formula Kai's tried to do. Tried to reverse to get the angle of the car into the pit lane, but fundamentally it's very unsafe to do that, and the consequences have happened because of that.
Yeah, that is a massive, massive hit, and that is the sort of hit that the uneducated would turn around and go, is Nim cross-watching? That's the sort of thing that you look at who is iRacing's chief steward-in-chief, and believe it or not, you can be protested in a league, believe it or not. So keep that in mind out there and your hosted sessions that you do, because you can effectively find yourself in trouble out there if you are in those sessions. It's not often that happens. It's most often that you find iRacing intervening when it comes to official races out there overall. I would like to inform the world that on this next restart, which we are 2 to green from, the Stag leads.
The Stag does not concern himself with leading the race. The Stag concerns himself with surviving the race, I guess, at this point. The Stag has been involved in so many different bits of contact that I think, you know, they're probably as surprised as we are if the Stag can show an emotion of surprise. To be fair, I haven't thought that one through. Does the Stag show any kind of emotion? I haven't seen any so far behind the scenes.
He does not concern himself with pit stops. He's on the same 83-lap-old wet tyres that he has started the race with here, has the Stag, with Big T-Mac just behind. It is then Hayden Gullis, Ryan L83, Storm Molina, and Aerotech. Your top 6 as they go. Sparks, who has been nowhere all day here, John, is 7th, and that's huge.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's a brilliant recovery. And just demonstrating the consistency that's there if they don't get caught up in other incidents. That incident at the start of the race was very, very difficult for Sparks. It's been a good recovery. Maybe it can be even better. Just want to point out, somehow the Stag has the fastest lap of the race. A 22.773. Only 3,000 better, faster than Hayden Gullis. But the Stag does have speed, apparently, as the unsafety car is coming in this lap.
Yep, so they will have 16 laps to figure this race out and say, what more can you do? Inside the final 15, the unsafety car team have worked their magic and said, that's it, we're going home. So they're going to have to just get through this lap only and hope they don't need to call another unsafety car. The green flag will drop, and now they are underway. They've waited for it. Aerotech gets a wonderful launch, and so too behind the Sparks and Greedy Me. The Stag covers everything off, but Ryan L83 is down on that inside with so much more superior traction, and the lead is his again.
He's done it twice now. That's incredible. That line, he has found the grip, and I tell you what, Hayden Gullis has followed him through. The Stag has got absolutely mugged at this restart. And Aerotech has got past as well. The Stag down to P4. And look how close Aerotech is to Hayden Gullis there. That is an incredible restart. And I just think, oh, the Stag in the wall. That is a little bit of damage as far as I can see. Hopefully the Stag will be able to continue, but it leaves him vulnerable to Greedy Me. On the outside, Punju up the inside. 3 wide for P4 as Punju gets the advantage. Greedy Me forced to back out of it, but the Stag's still around the outside. There's still a possibility. Look at the grip that Punju has, though. He has cemented his place in P4 as Hayden Gullis sets a fastest lap of the race, a 22.2. The speeds are increasing exponentially.
They are, it's getting slicker, they're finding traction, and they need to find it. Anything that is a contact patch they will use to their advantage. It is the opposite of what you see out there in Dirt Spec, which they run fastest on a clean track. But now outside, Lorraine's just leaving a car width on that outside line. It's forcing Hayden here to try and figure out where to go, and never count Aerotech out of a race like this. He is a dirt specialist and knows where to put the car. Right place, right time, and they will be ticking soon at 11 laps to go.
Yeah, crucially, Aerotech has nobody behind him at the moment. Greedy Me has just lost a little bit of pace and traction, just fighting it out with Punju. So that means that these three, the top three that you can see there on camera, has a visible gap, a visual gap to the rest of the field, and that is crucial really in terms of pressure. These top two, Hayden Gullis and Ryan, are battling, but Aerotech can just sit back and just wait for something to happen, wait for a little bit of contact, or
just like 2 weeks ago.
Indeed, yes indeed. History repeats itself, as they say. Hayden to the inside though. This might be an attempt at the lead. No, just not enough overspeed. So Ryan doing everything he can to defend, and doing it well for the moment.
I think he's slightly too close. I think he needs a little bit of help, and he's going to get it here. Ryan blocks it off, covers down low, back up they go. This is some defensive driving by Ryan L83. He's trying to make his F4 as wide as possible, all the way down low off the exit. He moves back high, and Gullis back onto the rear tyre. He's clutching onto everything that he can here with 9 laps to go, but still searching for a lane that doesn't work. Drops the time, and now here comes Aerotech.
I thought Aerotech was going a run there. I just want to point out the Stag has dropped down to P10. Just a disastrous restart, really. And possibly the tyres. Yeah, the tyres overheating and just losing the pace. I did say earlier that even just a little bit less overheating at the end of the day could be a major difference. I think the Stag might be dropping even more. Well, as I say that, down to P11, just to emphasise my point. But yeah, the top three still pushing, and the gap still increasing. 2.3 seconds to Punju now, who's still locked in a battle with Greedy Me. As you can see, the top three are just storming away into the distance. But really, I mean, Ryan...
Oh, Ryan's gone! Ryan's gone! He got caught! Killer Cleo went around, so too did, guess who? Josh's corner go around, and now it means that it is Hayden Gullis who leads. Also in the wall is Storm Molina, so a big hit there for Ryan L83. He never catches luck.
Well, I don't think he had that one on his bingo card either. I mean, where'd you go? Where'd you go? You're approaching at such a high speed. If you turn out of the corner, you're in the wall anyway. So I think he was trying to thread the needle, got maybe a little bit more grip than he wanted, and that sadly is a pit lane and out of contention. That means Hayden Gullis takes the race lead. Whether he likes to do it that way or not, I'm sure he would probably prefer to battle for position on track and take the lead via an overtake. That is how it happens, sadly, in oval racing. And that means that Punju is promoted into a position. Oh, that's Killer Cleo rejoining the track, I think, as well. No, it's Chesnoy, isn't it? Oh.
Well, so that is going to be the change of position. So Hayden Gullis now struggling here and will lose a couple places out there.
Ooh.
I wonder if he's tagged the wall and had a slide and that has brought him back. Yeah, so there's the slide that costs him. He just gets himself a little bit loose and then slicks it, and then Aerotech steals the lead again, but Punju now is going to be on the chase with 4 laps to go.
It's incredible to see how just simply that happened. Just a little bit of, yeah, that's a rear wing missing. That is not good. They'll hopefully find the pit lane without having contact.
The V-tubers have come together.
Oh no, from working together, it's all gone wrong. Let's see if we can get a replay of that, but that's so unfortunate. Aerotech leads then, and that incident with Hayden must have just been off of our camera view. Looks like Hayden's just looking to get a move on Punju.
Needs it, 2 laps to go now, and Aerotech just has enough. Punju trying to hold himself steady here, and look at the slide, they both overcook it! Greedy Me will go around the outside and take second position. Aerotech has got a gap, and now pinch yourself if you're dreaming, because the white flag's going to come out on the Hooters stand. Then, as now they work at USA on a fight for second behind, as it will be Punju versus Greedy Me for that, as they work through traffic on the inside. They got to get by. That's Josh's corner. They navigate that. Greedy Me would drive off the exit as contact and still having to fight. Punju's going to survive and hold it. But if there was a fluke last time, what do you call this? Aerotech comes round turn 4, takes it to USA and moves into the title picture.
Hayden takes P3 on the line, did he? I'm not sure.
Yes, he did.
Got it. He did get it by a couple of thousandths, I think, of a second. That is incredible. 300ths of a second. There you go. Got timing confirmation. What a finish. You could just see him storming up the inside and just taking the speed in. He got it a little bit offline on that polished patch, as we were talking about, and then just trying to avoid traffic, and just managed to snatch it right at the end as Greedy Me got a bad exit. But that is a huge recovery drive from Hayden, as we see him missing a wheel now.
Well, we know now that Aerotech will get to go to victory lane, and we don't often get to say this in Creator Series, but back-to-back championship victories. Burn it out, Aero!
That's incredible to see. Always consistent, always thinking the big picture. And I'm sure this wasn't part of the plan to have a victory that way, but I'm sure he knew he had the pace in him. And looking at how it was mid-race, I mean, would have anybody have predicted this? I don't think so.
Well, it's one of those things about Creator Series. You never truly know how it's going to play out. The long and the short of racing like this is it is absolutely brilliant out there to see the best of the best go at it in creator style. And look, he's burnt it so much. Look, he's punctured the left rear. You can see that. I don't know how that happened.
1% tyre wear per lap, eh? It turns out it was pretty accurate.
It very much was. Let's take confirmation of results then. Aerotech gets it done by a second over Punju as Hayden Gullis saves his blushes and just pips Greedy Me to the final spot inside the top 3. Joshimas finishes in 5th, and Sparks, while being nowhere today, will take critical championship points in 6th place ahead of Monkey Matt and Super Noodle Bagel 7th and 8th. Big T-Mac would finish in 9th, and only 10 runners inside of 1 lap. The Stag would still finish in 10th ahead of Josh's Corner and Storm Molina in 11th and 12th. You've then got Reska Kyoso and Formula Kai 13th and 14th. Formula Kai will need to learn not to reverse onto a live circuit, with Lith Fox and Ryan L83 desperately unlucky from the race lead, catching Ancephalosis and Killer Cleo, with Matt 2-1-2, a retiree 21 laps away, Chesnoy Gaming, a retiree, and then all the way down at the bottom, Els Indriani done after just 1 lap's worth of racing, struggling so much out there with the way that racing was going to go. Oh my, that is a race and a half, and I think we can say without any worry at all that we got Aerotech here with us. And Aero, to do it once was a fluke at Winton. To do it twice right now, you have to say there's talent.
Can you believe it? It's an Aerotech win once again. I don't know how that happened. I mean, we were fast on new tires. We had a lot of really good racing there in the middle. I had the FPS glitch. Thankfully, again, we are allowed to get laps back under safety cars, so I just pit really early and I had to pit from the lead. That's why I pit from the lead early. And then just made some good decisions. I mean, a couple people got unlucky there at the end, but a lot of people were like not lifting for crashes, and we knew there was no more safety cars. So like, what do? Do you lift and survive and maybe lose a spot, or full throttle through it and try to maintain your position and maybe get wrecked? So I was like, you know what? Again, I was like, I'm cool third. This is going to be really good for points for me. And then unfortunately, Ryan got caught up in an incident with the lap car. I was like, second, cool. And then Hayden just decided he didn't want to win today, I guess. So I don't know what happened there. I looked forward. He was just all the way sideways. But okay. Yeah, that was super fun. I didn't think we were going to be running this on dirt. And as soon as I heard about that, I just was like, because that's right up my wheelhouse. So madness out there today. But you got triple crown of Bandit Collective wins. That's 3 in a row, baby.
You're celebrating it now, but did you manage at the time of the incidents that happened, did you manage to keep yourself cool and calm and collected, or did it, get into your minds that, hey, hang on, I've got a chance at the win here all of a sudden?
I mean, it's just as easy because when you lose a wheel or whatever, and the pit entry here is so abrupt, it's pretty easy for somebody to who's missing a front wheel or something to try to get into the pits to get it fixed and not know that there's a car coming. And there's a lot of people, and I don't mean this in a disrespect way at all, that don't understand that you do not have spotters in the corners in Dirt Oval. You kind of just have to wing it. So they wouldn't hear like car low and just cut dead left. So you know what I mean? Especially at the end, I think all three of us, me, Hayden, and Punju, we saw like a car sideways and just all like stopped. So I mean, anything can happen. I mean, you saw it again, unfortunately, with Ryan really quickly there. Anything can happen here pretty fast. So I didn't really think we had it until going down the back straight on the last lap. And I was like, I think we're clear. Again, thanks to Josh as well for doing his best to get out of the way there. I was like, please, dude, this matters a lot to me. I need you to move.
Aero, you are championship leader heading to Alton Park next week. What does the game plan do now, knowing that you are the target everyone's trying to get better than?
First of all, Creator Series fans, that's a sentence. That's an insane sentence. I'm just gonna try and maintain as best as I can. I mean, Winton. We had some good late race strategy with the rain, and of course got lucky with that incident going from 4th to 1st. Here was a bit more in my wheelhouse. Like, I don't know what you guys saw, but I was driving like a madman. I think I was 4 wide at one point. I was bottom of 3. I passed Reska and Lith pretty aggressively. I think this is where a lot of the folks that are maybe not as familiar with iRacing are more familiar with other platforms, or I think this is where the skill gap's going to really tighten, because we're going to some pretty traditional F4 tracks, some good ones, but some pretty traditional ones. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it'd be cool. I think I didn't do very well last year in the points, or last season in the points. So even like a top 3 or a top 5 would be great. But it seems everyone else towards the front just keeps getting really unlucky, and I'm just there to pick up the pieces. So I mean, I have no expectations, but we're set up pretty good for the rest of the season.
Well, one thing that you do very well is just calculated race and just thinking about the bigger picture. So maybe with that little bit of cushion of points gap, you can do that even better now. So something which maybe people might struggle to overhaul, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short championship. Obviously, we're taking a break for the holidays. So it's something that I've kind of had in mind since last week. Like, even then in that race, I didn't think I was muted in Discord. And I was like, third's fine. Like, third's great points. I mean, Ryan was in the lead at the time. I was like, Ryan will get the win, even if Hayden won. Like, that's still good for me, points-wise. So I think now's the time we're going to see a lot of people change both, like, shift to and start thinking of points and not taking it race by race. So, again, like I said, it's still a lot of racing left and a lot of really good tracks, more traditional race tracks. So we'll see what happens, but it's about to get good, I think.
Well, we all wish you the best of luck for racing action at Alton Park in 7 days' time. Your new championship leader in the Creator Series, Aerotech. They're joining us and having a wonderful run of things. We are going to jump with the driver who finished second position overall. Panju, how did you manage that?
Could you let me know? Because I don't know, dude. That was, I had said at the beginning of the race, I was like, hey, I think just incident, reduction and just trying to be like as careful as we possibly can be is the move today. I ended up still having 3 faster pairs to go. So, I mean, I kind of fulfilled my strategy that I was trying to go for, and it worked out pretty good. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
I heard you just before we started the broadcast talking about the fact that you weren't taking a Formula wheel to try and preserve your wrists from any sort of injury. So maybe the safety approach did you a favor in there by giving you a little bit of rub of the green, as they say in Ireland.
Yeah, I tried to be as safe as I possibly could in every single scenario that I possibly could control. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, you just gotta control your variables and do your best to protect yourself effectively in a race like this. There was a lot of protection needed to be done because it was just so intense. But if you're smart about, which moves to go for, and especially on those restarts, like that first restart when I was on fresh tires, I didn't know how good it was going to be. I hit the loud pedal and I was gone, girl. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That makes a serious difference. So then, yeah, I kept that strategy going, and that was definitely really, really helpful.
Talk us through then the restarts and how difficult it was to try and get the angle, get the space to work with off of those starts, knowing that you had to go through the cycle of caution after caution after caution, and especially as well, talk about that final battle you had with Greedy Me.
Oh, dude, that battle with Greedy was amazing. That was one of the best battles I think I've had in iRacing. That was so fun. Every single time you restarted it, like, I knew I was gonna have a tire advantage. So, okay, cool. I can throw it up the inside, put them on the dirty stuff in the outside line, and I'm gonna keep rolling, right? And that's basically what you have to do. Like, in those moments when you know you have the speed, you just gotta launch yourself through and trust the car is gonna turn, even though it really doesn't feel like it's supposed to. It just did every single time. They're starting to get a little bit of a blue line, or blue groove, excuse me, as the rallycross people will know about that. Near like lap 60, 70-ish, and you can start seeing that, especially on entry. And if you just aim your car for that and you make the big turn right where you hit over that, it's like asphalt and just turns you over. So that's what I was looking for every single restart, was those.
Yeah, well, ended up, I think, catching out Hayden Gullis, where he went around possibly on one of those patches. So, yeah, maybe experience doing you a favor there. But maybe in terms of the next races, are there any tracks you're familiar with? And do you think you have good pace on?
Yeah, I unfortunately won't be here for next week, almost certainly. But the rest of the races, I love them. Like, I think that this calendar is phenomenal. I think that, Wilton Park, obviously, being next week is going to be pretty gnarly. But I love Charlotte Roval, and I love Watkins Glen. Both those are probably 2 of my favorite racetracks, like, literally in the world. So, yeah, I'm ready for some craziness, for sure.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck with your craziness. If we don't see you in 1 week, we'll see you in 3. Panju joining us there with a big second place finish out there overall. And we very nearly got a Hayden Gullis win before GTA 6 was launched. And Hayden, not quite.
Nah, the nosebleed was getting in the way. As you can see, I was actually wearing a white shirt before this race started, but the amount of time I spent at the front, it was just gushing out of my nose. But really enjoyable race. Last week was Indycar, this week was F4 Shouldn't, and I really enjoyed it.
What do you think was the most challenging aspect of it? Because we saw you had the pace, I mean, but just the chaotic nature of the race just seemed to play a disservice to everybody, I think, at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of different elements that come into it. It's a learning sort of like car control, and I mean, for a lot of it, for me, it's just flat out. You just keep the foot pinned to the floor from 5th gear down to 4th. We'll settle it, and just fight the corrections on the steering wheel. So you have that to sort of deal with. I guess all the times I've driven off track on F125 from making mistakes has taught me a lot driving on the grass there. And then it's just dodging cars as well. Like, if there's a crash in front of you, lift the hell out of there. Don't try and take it flat out. I think that's maybe what Brian did and why he got he got punted off at the end there. But I'd say those are the two biggest challenges: just having the car control, which I failed on right at the end, and then dodging the chaos.
Let's talk that track evolution, because it looked like right at the end that groove in the middle was starting to slick up, and I think you just caught it. And so that for you, how difficult was it knowing that track evolved to a state where you just couldn't pin it down flat anymore? And do you take any consolation on having the fastest lap bonus point?
I didn't know I had that, so I'll definitely take consolation in that. I didn't know anyone took it away from me at the end, but it was perfectly fine, and it was just literally that lap that was the first time I felt it go, and I was like, whoa, what on earth was that? I'd never felt that before in the 94 laps that we'd done, and unfortunately that was enough to put the nail in the coffin for me to lose 2 positions, because having the lack of speed out of the corner allowed Eli the run up the inside, and having the inside is so crucial around here, because it's just a lot easier to dictate the line and kind of spook the drive on the outside. And being that late in the race, I didn't want to take it too tight and have an incident and it be both over for the two of us. I'd take a podium if the race win wasn't on. But it's got a little bit gutsy, of course, not to win the race. But I'm really, really happy to be on the podium. Really happy to be fighting at the front. And it was a really fun race. But yeah, just a shame. Maybe a bit more dirt over experience. And I'll know that in the future that there's going to be a nice bit of tarmac at turn 1.
Well, talking about familiarity, maybe we are going to Alton Park next. Is that a track that you're familiar with? Do you think you have maybe, or maybe you can carry the pace that you had here into that next race?
It is a track that I am familiar with, as much as all the other tracks are on the circuit, on the calendar. Like Winton, I've done a few laps around a few official races, but not a lot. And it's the same with Alton Park. I'm really good at kind of like remembering layouts of tracks and kind of very quickly picking up braking points. It's just then excelling. That's where I'm weakest at, compared to obviously the really strong drivers in the series, is finding those extra attempts. So I'd say something like this, where everybody's jumped into the unknown, I can pick it up really quickly, but getting those extra fine attempts out of it is always the difficulty. Unfortunately, though, I am away next week, so I won't be there. So I won't get to enjoy Alton Park, but I'm sure they're all going to have a lot of fun around it, and a bit more back to normality after this.
Well, Hayden, we will wish you the best of luck in 3 weeks' time when we go to racing action at Charlotte Roval. Thank you so much for joining us, a 3rd place here today for Hayden. And John, I guess your final thoughts as we depart from the USA International Speedway, a place that has not seen racing for 17 years in the real world, but for now, I think put on a showcase.
Yeah, I think it's a classic case of nostalgia, really. We went back to a track that has a lot of history, sadly now in the past, but it certainly demonstrated why at its height it was a popular venue. And I think there's a lot of people out there that will reminisce and probably drive the track in the game, to be fair, because it's one of those things they might have gone to as a kid, for example. So I think this race delivered on that front. It was a classic sort of dirt oval experience that was made even more chaotic by the fact that you have nothing between the wheels. So as soon as you lock wheels, it's kind of over. So we saw everything from unsafety cars to unsafety driving to very safe driving that netted a race win for Aerotech. I mean, the script was definitely on point this time. So I'm not writing it, but I want to meet whoever does.
Well, it's a lot of copy-paste. Same one from last week, isn't it? Lol Aero wins. But we'll take a look at the championship standing, see how that has all come about. And Aerotech now clear by 4 over Sparks, with Greedy Me just 1 point back of that. With no Punju or Hayden Gullis next week, they will see the likes of Matt 212, Ryan L83. They'll try and jump back up the order. Drivers like Josh's Corner up in the championship, and Super Noodle Bagel still inside of that top 10. But it really has turned into a different championship out there, with a whole heap to try and uncover. We go from dirt in 7 days' time to a little bit more firmer ground, to a little bit more secure territory. We head ourselves to Little Budworth, just in Cheshire outside of Liverpool, for the next round of Creator Series. 3 rounds remain, and we'll see you at Alton Park for your next challenge.